and sitting comfortably.
My name is Rue, and your name, Scott, is...
Scott.
Yes.
Good morning. Hello. Welcome.
Good way to start. What are you doing? You're
I'm
pouring tea all over the
well,
electrical
my laptop
equipment.
was thirsty, so now it's
Hang on, I think your muff is a little too
Oh,
far away.
oh.
Writings on the wall. What's your thoughts with that one, then? I think it sounds like, you know when they win Pop Idol or something, and that's the song they sing with all the confetti falling down into their mouth and stuff. And they spit it out in between verses.
I found
Michelle McMammoths could sing
yes.
that.
I think if you think of it just as a song, what is sung by Sam Smith,
Then yes,
it's as good
fair
as
enough.
all his others. If you're a fan, you'll like it. If not, as a Bond theme,
No, it's
no,
just not trumpety enough.
No. Well, there's not enough Shirley Bassey. We tweeted her earlier. We're waiting for a response on her opinion on the thing and whether or not she'd like to make another one to replace the Sam
That'd be
Smith
nice.
one.
I think it's her duty.
Yes. Any of you wanting to retweet that and help us out, get that message to Dame Shirley, please feel free. But no, even the lyrics, it's like, how do I live? How do I breathe even? I'm suffocating when you're not here. That's not James Bond.
No.
James Bond's all like, I shagged you last night and now I'm off to kill a bad guy. Bang, bang, bang.
Well, yes, but this is why I liked the theme tune to Quantum of Solace, which was just a lot of shouting and some banging on the drum, because at least it was sort of a manly Bond number. Like Shirley Bassey managed to get it very...
It was very sexy.
It was. I'm trying to find the right word. It was sort of handsome, masculine sounding, even though she has a very ladylike voice, obviously. Well, it's just very powerful. That's the word. It's powerful, isn't it? There's oomph behind what she's doing. Whereas Sam Smith doing his Scissor Sisters there, I don't know what's that meant to say. And usually isn't a Bond song the name of, or at least the lyrics are related to the subject matter. So it's interesting to think.
In which case, does that mean that James Bond is going to fall in love and give up all the womanizing and shagging of...
He did that 2 films ago.
Well, he's done that several times, and every single time the lady either dies or turns out to be evil.
Yes.
It's never a good thing.
No.
And, I feel like we've done that, especially if it was only 2 films ago. We could, let him have a bit of time to himself.
I think the lesson he's learning is that a relationship just won't work while he's a double agent.
Well, he's not a double agent.
Double O agent.
Double O agent.
Double. He could be. Often he's doing double agent type things, isn't he?
Not really.
He goes undercover, doesn't he? Pretends to be.
Yes,
people.
But he doesn't go undercover as an agent for the other side. Although that would be an interesting take.
Yes, can't we do
But
that?
then-
Because
but
he's
then-
always going rogue every film. Oh no, Bond's gone rogue. Again,
yes.
this time in the trailer. What, you mean to say you've gone rogue, Bond?
Yes,
That's a big surprise, isn't it? You've been doing that for years.
the whole plot seems to be Bond, no. Bond, yes. And that's pretty much it. That's what he does.
What was the last film where he actually did a mission
That
for
he was supposed to.
the MI5 or MI6,
MI6.
whatever. MI6.
MI6. Probably was it GoldenEye? Because that was a mission for MI6. He was sent off to do a mission. He didn't take it into his own hands or anything.
No, because in Die Another Day he got captured, didn't he?
Well,
by the
but I don't know. Maybe it was which one was last, Die Another Day or The World's Not Enough?
What, Pierce Brosnan's last?
Yeah,
that was Die Another Day.
I think probably
That'd be
that
anybody's last, though, wouldn't it?
I think but I think with that he was kind of given his orders and then left to sort it out for himself, which he did. As he could, as only he could. But yeah, I think in terms of people going, oh no, you're not allowed to do this, Bond. Don't do that. And then he goes off and does it anyway. Or it's just Monday morning meeting comes around and Bond's not here. Where is he?
But it's not just. It's just not. Sorry, I'm just arranging my microphone.
Oh.
It's not just Bond, is it? IMF are always going bloody rogue as well. They're never doing anything by the books, or they're being shut down, or their whole team is turning against them. Whenever has anything gone according to plan for the IMF?
Well, isn't that the point of the IMF movies, though? It's just Tom Cruise playing at being a superhero? Crikey, no, a spy.
Yeah, well, he'd like to think he's a superhero, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that James Bond and the IMF are all doing their everyday normal missions in between the movies we see.
Yeah, I think maybe there's
And we
all
see
the
the extraordinary
boring,
cases.
paperworky crap missions that everyone has to do. You don't see James Bond going to Waitrose because he wouldn't shop at Sainsbury's. But
No, that's the point. You never see anybody in any films having a poo.
Very true. I'm glad of that, to be honest.
Yeah,
if
but
I'm
in
fair-
24, either the TV series, you never
No.
saw anybody having a poo.
I used to go 2 or 3 times for a wee in the middle of an episode, and he didn't pee once for 24 hours. But then
It's just unrealistic.
I'm all right with that. There's some levels of
What,
realism
you don't think
need.
that Iron Man occasionally needs?
Well, he has toilet in his suit.
Does he actually?
Yeah, he talks about that in Iron Man 2, I think.
See, that's why I like Farscape, because on Farscape,
Oh Lord.
you actually see them doing their washing and things on the ship. Yeah, there's explanations there.
Interesting side note, though. Both the Mission Impossible franchise and Bond, I can't remember if they are or if... Oh, I've messed this up already.
What?
I think they're owned by the same studio. So there was
really?
There was talk of a crossover.
Oh no!
But no. It was speculative talk, and I think it got shot down quite
Well, it best
immediately.
be.
Because they're not really...
Well, they're not the same vibe anymore. Perhaps when Die Another Day was still a thing, it would have been on the same level as...
Which would have been around Mission Impossible 1 and 2, wouldn't it?
No, because Mission Impossible 1 and 2 were much more serious than they are now. They've gone different directions.
They've gone the opposite
Bond's
way.
getting serious and IMF's getting just laughable now.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's play a little bit of music. We're going to talk today later about Sicario.
We are.
That's where our TV spot at the front of the show was from. But first, we're going to talk about climbing things. And
Yes.
this is The Call
Ooh.
from Everest.
Ooh.
What vibes were you getting from that, Scott? I thought it started off very Game of Thronesy, actually.
Yeah, there was a definite... as it started, there was a kind of thing coming in, and it's
Ominous mountain music. That was Dario Marinelli
good for him.
doing his shizzle.
Well,
Yeah,
he
sets
did
the
his
tone.
It does. It was, well, if that's... It's like a bit sad and
Well,
mournful.
I'll tell you what.
That was the Eeyore of theme tunes, I think.
Eeyore.
Yeah, it's just a bit sad and slow.
Well, the film wasn't in a hurry. I'll give it that. It was very 90s, in my opinion, and not because there was a whole lot of divorce in it, as we've discussed
Lord.
previously, but because it was mainly about sort of family relations and people on the phone, and there was a lot of that in 90s movies. People on the phone, climbing mountains, volcano. There was a lot of adventure-y kind of natural disaster stuff in the 90s, wasn't there? Like that. What was that film with Pierce Brosnan and a volcano?
Oh,
That happened anyway.
was there?
Yeah, there was and there was probably a whole lot of divorce in this volcano.
There was
as well.
Twister. Twister as well was
Yeah.
out in 1999, I think.
Were people getting divorced in Twister?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
were
sure
mostly
they-
screaming and being thrown in the air.
I'd place my bets on there being a divorce
Oh, Lord.
somewhere in the middle of that hurricane. But I was expecting Everest to be sort of disaster porn. Oh, we've reached the top and now everything's going tits up. This is where we ramp up Dario Marinelli's music and we have daring escapes and rescues.
Stumbling from one near miss to another and losing the red shirts along the way.
But yes, but that was before I realised that it was actually based on a true story. And if I had read about this true story, I wouldn't have gone in expecting it to have been disaster porn. It's very emotional. It's very sad. Basically, you're just watching lots of people die very slowly, and then lots of people having to tell other people that these people have died. You have to watch people tell other people several times about the same person that they're actually dead. So it's sort of
I could go.
Yeah,
and
it's just
I could go and
lots
sit in
of
a
coming to
nursing
terms with-
hospital for that kind of thing. Surely.
No, it's sad because you've had all the phone calls and you've had them sitting around because it didn't take its because it took its time getting up the mountain. You've become familiar with these characters and why they're climbing. There's a scene where they're asking each other, "Why are you doing it?" Some people say because it's there. Chinese lady says because she's climbed 6 of the 7 peaks, so she's doing it for this reason. Another chap, postman, he wants to climb up so that he can impress his kids and make them realize that their dreams can come true. They can fulfill their potential and whatever it is they want to do. So when these people drop off one by one, it's not,
Quite
oh
literally,
my
I imagine.
goodness, this is an exciting disaster. It's, oh no, but the children. And it makes you get a bit teary-eyed.
Well, would you? It sounds very heavy, very kind of emotional. Did you wipe away a tear? Were you filling up?
No.
No.
Is
that because you're dead inside?
I got nearly teary,
Nearly teary.
but I wasn't fully teary.
Right.
Much like Inside Out made me nearly teary. Nothing's made me cry this year, full on. I'm still waiting for something to. But
Wow.
I don't know what it was that didn't push me over the edge. I think, actually, it's probably that you could see all the mistakes being made. Whereas in real life, based on a true story, you wouldn't really have, in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, but not when you're dead, obviously. But you wouldn't necessarily have been able to see quite so clearly everything going wrong. So you could predict the way things were going to go quite easily, even without knowing the true story. There was a thing about oxygen. Would you call it gas canisters?
No, you'd call it
oxygen.
It's important to differentiate those two.
It's the transporter confusing me with their mixing up of oxygen, gas canisters, foam.
Yeah,
was it?
It was dry ice. Yeah, which apparently comes in
exactly the same canister.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, there was a thing where for some reason there wasn't the amount of oxygen up the mountain as they were anticipating, but it was never really explored as to why that happened. In real life, things go wrong, you don't always get the answer, but that's how you kind of saw things going pear-shaped, and you were enjoying the emotions, thinking, I can see the way this is going, so let me just suck up the sadness.
Okay. Would you say then that the trailer, which made it out to be very action-packed and people falling off things and avalanches and smashing around and would you say it was a little misleading as to the tone of the film overall?
Well, no, I didn't think that the trailer was like that.
Did you not? I did.
Well, no, I mean, there was some people stumbled off ladders and things in the first half.
Yeah.
And there was some big angry clouds.
Yeah.
But I don't think the trailer...
the trailer.
I don't think the trailer sold it on anything but we're climbing a mountain. And it's very dangerous. I don't think the film said everyone's going to die. I don't think the film said nobody's going to die.
No.
I mean, you don't know who's going to die, but you do know people are going to die.
Well, yes. And I think,
otherwise, it wouldn't be worth making, would it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Which is a shame. I think why not make a movie about people getting up and down Everest
without dying?
And then all the kids being like, I can fulfill my potential
by
on the way home.
An actor.
Yeah.
Didn't lots of people die in the making of?
Well, yes, terrible coincidence.
Well, this is what happens when you climb a bloody big mountain.
No, but while they were filming,
bloody big mountain,
more people died than during the event that the movie is based on, which up until that point was the worst catastrophe on Everest. So it's almost as though the filming of this movie created a worse catastrophe, almost as though they really wanted a sequel. So Everest 2.
Do you think in a few years they'll do a film about making a film on Everest where lots of people died?
I think it's inevitable.
Oh, Lord.
And again, we'll be there with our 3D goggles all the way.
Ugh.
Don't you think it's a bit strange? It's like I was in London Dungeons last night, and it's the same kind of thing as when you're watching Titanic or you're watching a film like Everest. If the people who are going through this real life bloomin' scary ordeal, bloody awful, could fast forward a little bit and see that we're all going around the London dungeons, going, oh, look, bubonic plague, ha, ha, ha. Oh, I'm being made to jump. Oh, look at my 3D goggles watching everybody die on Everest. Oh, Titanic, so sad. Wasn't that a good movie? Let's get a burger. They would make them very unhappy, I think. It would be shocking for them.
Well, I think they'd be pretty unhappy being in those places in the first place.
Well, yeah, but worse still to find out that people are just using it as entertainment years later.
Well, I don't really know how to respond to that. Maybe it's at least the stories are getting told and stuff rather than being died and the whole thing being forgotten. And perhaps the best way to entertain such a fickle and bored bunch as us 21st century people is to make it as entertaining and thing as possible while still getting the original tragedy and badness of it all over. I don't know. Would you prefer that people actually had to have the bubonic plague?
No, I think films like Schindler's List get it right. You're not watching that for entertainment, really, are you? You watch it. You don't leave feeling like you've been on an adventure.
No,
like I did with Everest.
Right,
an emotional one, but still, you almost feel like you've been there. In a sense, perhaps that's a good thing because now I'll never get the urge to actually go
to Nazi Germany.
No, to Everest.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
You lost me a little bit in the middle there.
There's not really that much choice in the matter anymore when it comes to Nazi Germany. Do you think there's like we've got London Dungeons here? Do you think there's a sort of a Nazi theme park in Germany?
There's
not,
Auschwitz.
is there?
There's Auschwitz. You can go to the internment camp.
Can you buy a keyring or a little trophy that says "I survived Auschwitz" on the way out?
I really, really hope
There's
not.
probably not.
Although I bet someone somewhere has tried to do that. I bet if you look on the internet,
Well,
you can
get,
buy that kind
you
of
can
stuff.
get 9/11 gifts, can't you?
Well,
9/11 keyrings, hats.
we've gone
Little
a
goodie
little
bags.
bit. I feel we've gone a little off focus.
No, this
here.
this is what the film's about. The film's about a disaster,
Keyrings.
people dying. It's a real true story, and we're all paying to go and see it while shoving popcorn in our faces.
Well, did they get keyrings at the gift shop on the way out?
Of Everest?
Yeah, at the bottom. When they get back to base camp, is there a little "I survived Everest" keyring?
I think your prize is your life, to be
Right.
honest. I don't think you need a keyring
Lord.
after that ordeal.
It's like the Running Man.
We haven't asked the question yet, but we are going to be asking the question for the rest of the show. Who said this?
A clown's pocket.
Who said
A clown's pocket.
any ideas?
Clown's pocket.
Yes, a
A
clown's
clown's pocket.
a clown's pocket.
Wow.
A clown's pocket.
Any ideas?
A clown's pocket.
No.
Well, if you do at home or on the bus or on the lavatory, wherever you are, please do tweet us your ideas at ELR Comfortably and use the Facebook page .com/ELR Comfortably. We're also, obviously, on Mixcloud. That's mixcloud.com/Rubox. You can listen to our entire back catalogue there. We've also got a SoundCloud, do we not?
We do. Our SoundCloud is soundcloud.com/ELR Comfortably, as usual. You can listen to our podcasts, or you can download us from the iTunes just by searching "Are You Sitting Comfortably" in the iTunes.
Of course.
A clown's pocket.
Any ideas?
A clown's pocket.
Still none.
No.
Okay, we're going to listen to a bit more Dario Marianelli. Marianelli.
Are you right?
No, I'm having another stroke.
Oh.
Okay, right, first trek. Here we go. This one's a bit.
It is, isn't it?
This one's a bit more fun.
Yeah.
As you might be able to tell, that music is from the period before everything went dramatically wrong.
It's got a little bit of everything's going to go wrong in there. It started off
Well, of
fun
course.
and went slowed down a bit.
I realised I didn't do a 30 seconds worth
Oh no.
of what Everest is all about, so I may as well shove one in just before your Sicario. Oh dear, here we go. Right, so a bunch of people with lots of money, £65,000 each to climb the mountain, climb up Everest. They all have their own reasons for going, obviously, and as they get closer and closer to the top, some people fall behind and have their own issues, some with their eyes, some with their legs, some with their brains. But one chap who's been once before and didn't make it, he wants to go a little further, just a little too late, and so when they're coming back, everything goes a bit wrong because there's a big storm on the way and we have to listen to people dying, and it's all very sad and we cry a lot.
Except you didn't cry a lot.
No, I didn't, but lots of people did. I heard some sniffing going on. Would you like to have a go at 30 seconds worth of what happens in Sicario?
We're just
What-
crashing straight in. Okay.
What is Sicario all about? Hang on, are we supposed to be doing this?
What?
Yes,
Stuff?
we
Oh,
are.
yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
We're on the radio. It's what we do.
Yeah. All right, in 3, 2, 1. No, hang on, that's not working.
Oh, Lord.
In 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so Emily Blunt is an FBI agent, and she's very good at doing her job, finding the bad people. And some people want her to go and help with something in a different part of the country, only it turns out to be the CIA, and they're going to Mexico, which is bad and stuff. And then it's a very heavy movie, and you have to concentrate, and I don't think I could explain it in 30 seconds, and there's a lot of spoilers anyway. So it gets heavy, and it's a little bit depressing, and ooh.
It is fairly grim. You know, actually, 2 very heavy movies this week we're talking about. They're very, you don't leave thinking, what a lovely day out at the cinema. You leave thinking, good Lord, I'm glad to be alive.
maybe we should end the show with something like sunshine and
Lollipops,
lollipops.
yes. No, we do have a cheerful song lined up for the end because
excellent.
the next few tracks are a bit grim as well.
Oh, Lordy.
Of course, throughout the rest of the show, we're asking you to tell us if you know who said this.
A clown's pocket.
A clown's
A
pocket.
clown's
A
pocket.
clown's pocket.
Should be obvious if you've seen Sicario. That's a clue.
Ooh.
There's a clue for you.
Ooh.
We're going to listen to a little bit of music from Sicario and then talk about it in great detail. This is The Beast by Johan Johansson. As you can see, or hear rather, from the music, it's grim, it's dark, it's moody. I think Johan Johansson does a very good job there of bringing the mood down. And also, it just dawned on me why Everest felt like a 90s movie.
Why?
Because it was set in the 90s.
That would do it.
Yeah.
That is a thing. Yes.
So, what was your opinion of Sicario?
I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, I've been hard to please. I think.
Yes.
Since I started. Well, I've always been hard to please, but I've talked about it quite a bit since I started, and I need a movie to make an effort for me. And
it doesn't it make a change for something to take itself seriously,
yes, and but
to
not
trust its audience.
Yeah. Definitely, rather than No Way Out, which took it not No Way Out. What was it called?
No Escape.
No Escape.
But it's just about as entertaining as the ride No
Yeah.
Way Out at Thorpe Park.
Well,
which
quite.
is bloody awful.
That took itself too seriously and lost us on the way. I think.
Do you think it took itself too seriously?
I think it thought it was more than it was. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I think it just thought, right, let's get some crazy terrorist people running through Asia land and just have some fun with it.
Well, it was a bit too dark.
Let's kill as many people as we can, and popcorn's on you.
But Sicario, on the other hand, I really enjoyed it. It drew you in. It was complex. You had to concentrate to keep up with what was going on, and that was interesting. There was perhaps not being American. I wasn't particularly au fait with kind of jurisdictions of FBI versus CIA and all the other agencies that were involved in that, and that was a little confusing to start with, but it got easier. I'd say if you're watching this, the first half hour is a little heavy. In fact, the trailer comes from the first half hour. Nothing in the trailer happens after, the first half hour, 45 minutes. And that's
so refreshing.
Brilliant. So good that a movie has the amount of confidence to not spell out the entire plot for you and to not give away some massive spoilers in there as well.
The trailer ran off mood, didn't it? It wasn't, just splooging all of its effects at you. Not that it was all very kind of character driven.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it really just trusted that you would pick up that this was serious business.
Yeah. And
you want to go see it that way. Which means that after about half an hour of the movie, you realise you're on your own.
Yeah.
You don't know what to anticipate. You don't know what's next.
And I liked that. That for me is a good movie where it's where you can't predict what's about to happen in the way that you could with Everest.
And it didn't really have a predictable arc, really, because the story started off with Emily Blunt's Kate Macy and her perspective, and it sort of morphed into Alejandro's story.
Yeah, there was definitely overlap, and I liked that. Without wanting to, do you want to toot your spoiler horn just for a little bit?
I think I should, if we've got one.
That's a very light-hearted spoiler horn for today.
That's my favourite spoiler horn.
Bless your sweet self.
Do you want a darker spoiler horn?
Have you got a bit of Hans Zimmer's Fairy horn in there somewhere?
Let me try.
Oh.
No. That was if anything more cheerful.
Yes, but never mind. That's all good. So yeah, I'd say because the whole it's a very muddy, murky kind of area that they're talking on. You never really know who's a good guy and who's a bad guy, and things like that. And I liked that as well. It wasn't that, but none of them were. There were no villains, or perhaps everyone was a villain. And the only actual good guy person in this film, the lovely Emily Blunt, ends up getting kind of chewed up and spat out by the end of it. She's.
But a lot of the best dramas, I'm thinking mainly TV for some reason, are really the ones that realise this idea that in life you don't have goodies and baddies. You just have people who want stuff.
Yeah.
Who want to succeed in whatever they want to succeed in. And of course that clashes with other people's opinions of what is good and what is right and what is bad and what is wrong. Game of Thrones is all about that. Breaking Bad, obviously, is all about that. Even Farscape, to a degree, was all about that.
There it is.
But yes, this film really was very murky in that respect. Do you think the film had anything to say about police? Do you think it was saying sometimes to get stuff done you need to break the rules, or do you think it was saying if you break the rules you just don't know what's going on, it's a mess, this is why we have rules?
I think it was very much a mess. I think it was not the film, but the situation that the film was depicting. It was the overwhelming thing for me was this whole situation is a huge mess, and there is no easy way that the good guys can storm on in and shoot all the bad guys and everyone can go home for ice cream. It was very much, sometimes it's not about who's a good guy and who's a bad guy, but whose side they're on, perhaps.
And it's just...
Do you know what I mean? Does
you
that
get,
make sense?
Yeah, you get the feeling, obviously, that this has been going on for a long time as well. And it's just because Kate is now joining the story that we're getting to see it.
Yeah.
So you also get the feeling that whatever she does, whatever happens, it's going to remain as messy and as dark and as murky. So there's no one can win. You're just here for the ride.
And it's to do what little you can. It's a little bit like farting in a hurricane. It's not going to make a lot of difference. But then I think there was a line in one of the slightly more exposition-y moments, which even so wasn't clunky or anything. It followed nicely. Was one of the guys saying that the best they can hope for at the moment is order. They can't stop what's happening. They can just hopefully steer it towards being a less chaotic situation. They're never going to be able to stop the drug trade and everything that goes with it. All they can do is kind of hope that, well, not hope, is work towards getting someone who, if not a good guy, then at least reliably bad in the right ways, could be in charge so that they can,
Does the film not perhaps make you think or at all side with people whose opinion is that all drugs should be legalized, because at least then it would all be above board, it would all be done in a very visible way, and you wouldn't get all of this underground kind of gritty, murdery stuff, all this secret dealing, because it's so illegal and you can go to jail over it. If nobody went to jail over it,
suspiciously hippie-ish over
if
there.
it was all available in Boots or via a prescription, I'm not sure. Don't ask me. It's not my job. But if it was perhaps a little bit more above board in a legal way, we wouldn't have this murky underworld. But the reason why we have this murky underworld is correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't it actually pump a lot of money into economies and things, having a dark underbelly?
I think so. It's very complicated when you get into the economics of it and stuff. But yeah, I think
there are advantages
to
government.
Mm.
Whatever.
I remember reading a very complex and confusing, if I'm honest, economic analysis.
But that's
drugs
the idea is to confuse us, isn't it? Really, so that we just shrug our shoulders and go, okay, let's watch X Factor.
Well, I wouldn't always say that, but there have been economists who've gone on record as saying that from a purely economic point of view, it's in the government's interests to keep drug barons and stuff in business, because it's if you start legalizing it, then you've got to control it, you've got to have all sorts of.
But then they could tax it. They could tax it to high heaven, couldn't they? Like they do everything else.
Well. So. But then you'd never get that far, because drugs are bad, and any politician who says otherwise isn't going to stay in office very long. And
well, that's true. Yes,
which is a problem.
We're buggered. We're stuck.
This is why having people in charge of the country who got there on the merits of a popularity contest is never a good idea. Imagine X Factor winners becoming Prime Minister.
Yeah, but that's not what you're voting them for, is it? Voting them for. What? Voting, that's not what you're voting for an X Factor winner for.
No, but it was just an illustration.
Is that sentence making sense?
No.
Yeah, you're voting on their singing, not their popular. Well, no, it's it is popularity, isn't it? Because One Direction couldn't sing.
No, and it's
managed very well.
And tellingly, it's all the audience opinion of people is all manipulated on which bits they show on their 45 minutes, 2 hours, however long it is, on telly every week. And if Simon Cowell decides he likes you, you get a lot more flattering airtime than someone who doesn't.
It's pretty much just an analogy for political the political landscape, isn't it?
But we've moved well away from Sicario at this point.
Well, no, have we though? Because it does make political points, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's definitely shaking its finger at things.
But I think. I wouldn't even say it was shaking its finger.
Well, look, if it wasn't shaking its finger, the music would be more cheerful, wouldn't it?
Well, no, I think
it's dark and like grim, and this is what we've become. This is the human race. There's no escape. We're all horrible.
I think rather than saying it's shaking its finger, I think it's telling us a story and leaving it up to us to decide where we fall on all the matters.
So you think director Denis Villeneuve? You have a go at that.
Villeneuve.
Yes, okay. Do you think he wants you leaving with the opinion that absolutely, yes, that's all fine?
Well, this is the thing. I think
I'm sure he doesn't.
I don't think anyone could come out of the movie saying this is all fine. Because it's such a nuanced and layered argument on that the film is making throughout. It's like, as we said, there's no good guys.
But do you think
it's just different kinds of bad guy?
The same way that Breaking Bad has inspired, we've seen in the news, people to start their own meth labs and stuff.
Has it?
Yes, it has.
Good Lord.
Walter White kind of esque people making blue meth happened. And the same way that Scream arguably, encourages people to stab people and all the rest of it.
Oh, this is the violent video games make people violent.
What I was going to say, though, is do you think that the same way that watching Everest kind of makes you want to climb things, not Everest by any stretch of the imagination, but, stuff, do you think that watching Sicario makes you think, well, actually, that man had a nice big house. The drug trade clearly pays very well.
Only if
I'm going to get involved.
No, not at all. Not even slightly.
Or do you think it makes you think, I'm going to become a policeman because then I can legally kill people?
Again, no.
Well, that's all that happens all the way through the movie. It's almost as though the film is sort of condoning police violence sometimes, I thought. Not all the time, but there was that kind of edge to it where obviously the police are laying out their argument in the film, and you're kind of thinking, I can see your point. I can see why you shot that man point blank.
The police,
without trial.
It wasn't the police. It was the CIA.
Yes, sorry.
But
that's a bit like getting Post Office and Royal Mail confused, isn't it?
Well,
it's the same kind of thing.
Well, I would say I've forgotten what I was going to say actually, because you've got me thinking about a policeman in the CIA now. But yeah, one of the things actually from the movie that kind of annoyed me a little bit was that like you say, they would shoot people in the street and then just drive off. Yeah, like in the trailer. So there's no spoiler here. Like there's an ambush when they're stuck in traffic, and they jump out the cars and they blow away all the bad guys, and then they just drive off, and then all the people who aren't bad guys in the traffic,
they're just having a look,
are just stuck behind a car full of dead bodies,
but
or they're on the road next to them, and I just think, who's going to clean that up?
They do make it out as though this particular area of the world is very much used to seeing dead bodies everywhere.
Yeah, and I wondered about that as well, because it's Juarez.
I don't think
Mexico.
Their tourism prospects are especially high after the release of Sicario.
Well, Benicio del Toro is, I think he's Mexican anyway, I think. So, but I wonder why but I wonder if he's gone a little bit beyond realism to have mutilated corpses hanging from bridges and things when you drive into Juarez and things like that.
Are you willing to go and have a look to make sure?
No.
No.
But
neither am I.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a touristy place, but at the same time, it seems pretty much lawless in a lot of ways, and
even among the law enforcers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And corrupt police are shown in the movie a little bit. Not all of them. And again, there's different levels of corruptness, but I did think that he's really painting this part of Juarez, this city in Mexico especially, to be almost entirely full of drug-dealing murderers or people who support them or work for them or whatever, rather than just being a city with a bit of that going on like any city must. And I wondered about that, really. It's I don't know any Mexicans. Oh, I do, but I haven't seen any Mexicans to ask.
You'll have to ask him.
Hi, Pedro, if you're listening. Tweet in and let us know if the... I do actually know a Mexican called Pedro. I know that sounds really... it sounds a little bit racist, didn't it? But no.
Can I recommend a film to you? If you liked Sicario?
You do that all the time, so I think you probably should. I know which one you're going to say as well, but go on.
Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, because you recommended it to me on the way down the stairs out of the cinema after watching.
It's a very similar tone. It's very grim, it's very dark, it's very morally absent.
Is it all yellowy brown coloured as well?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's their assassination of Osama bin Laden, and there's no trial, so there's lots of controversy surrounding that. And very, very, very dark, very brooding, very questioning, a very grim, deep and grimy soundtrack. I don't know who it's by, actually. I'll have to find that out and maybe play some on the show in the future, next opportunity. But let's have a listen to Convoy by Johan Johansson, our last moody track of the day, and then we'll reveal the answer to our question, who said this?
Actually, just... Oh, sorry. So
Who said...
Clown's pocket.
Sorry, we're all talking over it.
We are.
A clown's pocket.
There you
There
go.
it is, a clown's pocket. I was going to say, actually, the music, this was one of the few things in this movie that annoyed me, was that there was some big sweeping aerial shots of
Lifted right from the beginning of Prometheus.
Yeah, of Mexico, with really overly dramatic music happening, which annoyed me a little bit because nothing overly dramatic had happened yet, and it was it seemed to be trying to build up to something without actually putting in any effort to actually build up to it.
But it was putting the idea in your head that this is measurable.
Yes, I know, but and it did, and it worked, but I think it overdid it a little bit for me. But that was of all the things I've got to complain. My negative points for this film are very few.
You should try listening to this music while walking alone down dark alleys. See how you fare. Here we go, Convoy. Moody.
Ooh,
I like it a lot.
yeah.
I like it in a kind of very I'm frowning way. I'm going to sit in the corner, listen to this music and frown and really enjoy it.
There were some the bass strings in there were a little bit. They reminded me of Jaws a little bit actually.
Ooh, good point, yes. And I thought some of the more psychotic trumpet noises were very Prometheus, having mentioned it just briefly earlier.
Trumpety farts all the way through.
Trumpety alien farts. We're asking the question, who said this?
A clown's pocket.
I've got the answer right here.
Keep your voice down, Jelly. Apparently that pig's been sniffing round again.
He's already here, Mr. Lomax.
Hey?
The pig.
Well, we don't know anything about anything.
Said she was babbling about what, a locket?
No. A pocket. She's gone about a clown's pocket. Slang for big vagina.
Yeah, like a wizard's sleeve.
A yawning donkey.
Maybe she was just showing off.
That is,
Quite disturbing is what that is.
the answer to the question, who said that then, is Daniel Kaluuya, who's in Sicario. He plays Reggie, and he plays Tea Leaf in Psychoville,
Right.
the BBC comedy series, which is bloomin' amazing. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to play you 30 seconds worth of its opening sequence. I wasn't expecting him to see him in this, in such a big grim Hollywood doodah.
Well, good. I haven't seen it. I'm not sure if I want to.
Oh no,
actually.
you must. You must sit down and watch Psychoville.
Right.
You really must.
Is it on the Netflix?
No, but I think it's on the Amazon.
Right. On the Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Oh.
You might have to have a look
I
at it.
haven't got Amazon
If not,
Prime.
certainly worth buying on DVD. And you know it starts off as a bit of silly fun, and you think nothing's going to happen, and then it all starts to come together, and the writing's just incredible. Yeah.
Do people still do DVDs? I haven't bought a DVD.
Dove does.
In fact, the last DVD
Buy it
I
on
bought-
VHS.
on the cassettes.
Yeah, just don't record over it.
Yeah, you've got your cassettes. I think the last DVD I bought was Grand Hotel Budapest. Grand Budapest Hotel.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, I always get that wrong. Grand Budapest Hotel, and it's still in the shrink wrap. I haven't opened it.
Ah,
I
no,
bought
but
it
that's
because
fine.
I wanted it, and it's just sat on the shelf.
I like buying box sets just because they're like trophies. You don't have to ever watch them. You just have to have it on your shelf
Well,
so
you
that
ha-
you
you
can
don't-
point at it and say, I watched that and I really liked it. I got all the way through that television series. It was amazing.
So do you buy trophies that you didn't actually earn then, and just keep them around the house? It's just in a kind of
What, you mean TV box sets of shows that I haven't watched yet?
no trophies, and you were like they're like trophies. You put them around, and you're like, oh, I did that, even when you
No,
actually
no,
didn't.
no. For once you've watched, obviously you've watched Game of Thrones all the way through. Then you buy the box set. And you can point at it and go, I watched that. And it was bloomin' good.
And don't people go, yeah, I watched it too. It's on the internet. Everyone's seen it.
Yeah, but they haven't got the trophy, have they? This is my brain. Welcome.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the show has come to an end.
It has.
What's our overall opinion on Everest and Sicario, except for they're really moody and quite sad?
Well, I haven't seen Everest, but you've made me more interested in it than I was.
Yes.
Definitely.
I'm glad.
And Sicario is a very, very good movie. It's heavy, but it rewards concentration. If you listen to it properly and really get into it, you'll enjoy it a lot.
I love being rewarded for concentration.
Well,
Makes me feel good about myself.
get a trophy for it.
Okay, so that's the end. Listen to our old episodes on mixcloud.com/Rubox, and please do follow us on Twitter.
Yes.
ELR
tweet
comfortably.
us with some ideas if you want us to review any particular movies, what you've seen. If you've got any ideas for stuff that we should do on the radio, then let us know. We'll probably ignore you, but it's always nice to hear.
We're not going to ignore you.
Well, we'll go, great, thanks, and then not do it, but that's up to us.
Not necessarily.
Well,
it's always worth a shot.
It is. You never know you're looking a raffle, as my mum always says.
We'll see you next week.
Join us next week for another thrilling episode of Are You Sitting Comfortably?